Ryan Anderson here, the driver of Son of a Digger, and you're watching Rod Rod's Championship League.
What's going on, everybody? Project Rod here, and it is time for racing here in the final stop of Tour Blue. Steel Titan in the Black Pearl is your fastest qualifier yet again, dominating and getting that extremely important semi-final bye run, giving him a 2-position difference in qualifying between him and Megalodon. So now there's a 3-point difference between him and Megalodon. There was a 5-point difference. Now there's a 3-point difference. So he's slowly chipping away, but that semi-final bye run is going to give him that much more of a benefit depending on how well Megalodon does in racing. This is the W Racing bracket going into the final stop. Again, Black Pearl getting that semi-final bye run. Then you got Gravedigger the Legend, Lucas Stabilizer, and Megalodon in round 2 for a bye run. So great positioning for everybody here, and all eyes are on Megalodon and the Black Pearl, because depending on where they are, it's going to determine the rest of this competition and who the tour winner is going to be. So let's go ahead and get started with round 1, as Little Drift 912 and Monster Jam will get a bye run. Again, been through this again, broken record. She is getting a bye run due to one of the trucks and drivers not able to perform for the rest of this competition. So just getting familiar with the track, getting a lap in, and hopefully working out any of the kinks here early on before actually having to race somebody in competition. Right there, though, already going a bit too wide, and that's definitely going to be a penalty. So 28.709 for Monster Jam, but luckily, hopefully, getting that out early, getting those jitters out early, and that way it doesn't affect her later on in the actual racing competition. Now, our first official race is going to be Angel Garcia and Brutus versus Worst COD Player in Son of a Digger. Great start for both drivers, and whoever wins this race will race Cecily 96 and Lucas Stabilizer in round 2. Son of a Digger right there, a close call in terms of a penalty, but so far a good lead for Son of a Digger. So nothing's been called yet, but right there, that will definitely be a penalty. He was way too close on the inside, and that right there also will most likely be a penalty, but that first one will definitely get called. So let's take a look at a replay right here. Son of a Digger going a little too sharp in that turn, definitely giving him a penalty. So Brutus will be the winner because of the penalty, and he will race Lucas Stabilizer in round 2. Here comes Drift 912 and El Toro Loco against April Summers and Monster Jam Dalmatian. Wasting no time here, immediately starting. And this is the last race of round 1. April Summers really needs to come out on top here if she does not want to lose her spot in the automatic bid to the World's Finals. But right there, it looks like a penalty for Monster Jam Dalmatian. So in a dangerous spot, April Summers, and right here again, going a bit too wide. El Toro Loco coming to the finish now, but right here you can see April Summers clearly outside of the smoke gate. Taking a closer look here, and she is right in front of it. You can see the gap in between the front tire and the back tire. So April Summers getting a penalty, and El Toro Loco moving on to round 2. Not good news for Monster Jam Dalmatian here. As we take a look at the racing bracket for round 2, it's going to be Gravedigger the Legend against Monster Jam, Lucas Stabilizer against Brutus, and Megalodon against El Toro Loco due to that penalty. So two trucks moving on due to penalties. So let's see how it works out in round 2. Again, Gravedigger the Legend and Gravedigger the Legend and Firefly and Monster Jam and Little Drift 912 leading us off in round 2. And the winner here will face Black Pearl in the semi-final round. So far, Gravedigger the Legend with a slight lead, but a penalty already for Gravedigger the Legend. This is not good. Monster Jam Dalmatian will need to also get a penalty at this point if he wants to take the win, but chances are she will not, as she will finish the race cleanly. And we will be looking at a replay here. As you can see, yes, it is an official call. Monster Jam will get the win. Firefly going just a bit too wide and getting that 3-second penalty. So the next race of round 2 is going to be Cecily 96 in Lucas Stabilizer versus Angel Garcia in Brutus. At this point, both of these drivers are fighting for a 3rd place spot right there. Lucas Stabilizer, an amazing start right off the gate. So can she keep this momentum for a win? Brutus looks like he's struggling a little bit, kind of slugging along. Not sure what's happening here. Angel Garcia maybe having some mechanical issues or something, because there's quite a difference between these two. Quite a lead that Lucas Stabilizer has, and Lucas Stabilizer crossing the finish line first. Brutus still kind of tugging along. Not sure exactly what happened there, but an amazing time for Lucas Stabilizer. And now Megalodon, Employer 9 and Drift 912 and El Toro Loco. I think this is the first time El Toro Loco has made it to the 2nd round. I'm not entirely sure, but Megalodon really needs to get a win here if he wants to keep that lead over Black Pearl, I had to pause for a second because it looked like Megalodon got a penalty, but it doesn't look like it. Nothing's been said yet. Here we go, Megalodon still with a lead all the way to the finish, and he will take the win. I don't believe a penalty will be called. And no, a penalty will not be called. Megalodon with the win going into the semifinal round. So our semifinal round bracket is lined up and ready to go. It's going to be Black Pearl against Monster Mutt and Luke Stabilizer against Megalodon. Monster Mutt trying to take that 6th place spot away from Monster Mutt Dalmatian and April Summers and getting that automatic invite into World Finals. She may have it in the bag. It all depends how the rest of this competition goes, but right here she has to face Steel Titan and Black Pearl, one of the most dangerous drivers on the track, and they are off as the semifinals are underway. And already Black Pearl using that rear steer, you can see him just shaking it back and forth to give him that bit of an advantage, and he does have a lead over Monster Mutt, so things are looking good for the Steel Titan right now. Has an incredible lead as long as he can keep it clean, and he will keep it clean going into the finish, and he will take the win over Monster Mutt and Little Drift 912. So Black Pearl moving on to the final round, the championship race here in Death Valley. Stop 5, the final stop of Toro Blue. Now it's time to see who his competitor is going to be. Is it going to be Cecily 96 in Lucas Stabilizer? Is it going to be Pilor 89 in Megalodon? Megalodon right now needs to come out with a win if he wants to stay in this competition and be in line for that overall seasonal win. So far, so good for both drivers. Pretty even, honestly, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things. Pretty even. Things are looking really good. This is going to be a fantastically close race. Lucas Stabilizer, I think she went a little too wide. She may have gone a little too wide. They're wanting to look at a replay, and right here, it is a hard angle to tell, but she seems to be out of the smoke gate. If this penalty is given, this is going to be a huge game changer and a big slap in the face for Lucas Stabilizer, but a huge advantage to Megalodon. And I believe, looking at the replay here, there's no dirt over that smoke gate. That tire was outside, so Lucas Stabilizer will be getting a penalty. And Megalodon moving on to the W Racing Final. So it's Black Pearl against Megalodon. This is going to be the do or die situation for both of these trucks. This is going to determine the outcome of our season winner. So let's go ahead and get started with the final round, the W final round here in Death Valley. Our two biggest heavy hitters of the season going head to head for the final race of the season. It all comes down to this. This is going to set the mood for the remaining bit of the season, remaining half of the competition here in Death Valley. So here we go. Let's watch these two heavy hitters go head to head as they're pretty even so far. Great start for both trucks. Black Pearl with a slight lead over Megalodon. Pilor 89 at risk of losing this race as Black Pearl is swinging along, but he may be swinging too wide, and he may have gotten a penalty just there, and even there too at the finish. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have quite an upset here. Black Pearl, a close call there, and he may be getting a penalty right here. Taking a look at the replay, he may be on that smoke gate. He may be just outside. It's a hard call to tell. I don't see any dirt on the smoke gate. And then going to the finish line here, it looks like he was just outside. You could see by the tire marks that he was outside of that smoke gate as well, so he will be given a penalty, and that the penalty is going to be the death of his racing win here in Death Valley. Megalodon getting a huge win here, and this is definitely going to set the mood for who the winner is going to be. A two-time racing champ this season, and honestly, a heartbreaking moment here for Black Pearl because this sets him back just a little bit. But that little bit can make a difference. There's only two competitions left as we look at the leaderboards for racing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall leaderboards for the season. Now it went from 5 points, 3 points to 4 with 2 competitions left. So it's getting very interesting as we take a look at the overall event leaderboards. This is going to dictate who the winner is as well. Right now, Black Pearl with a 1 point lead. If he can get the overall event championship and score well in Best Trick and Freestyle, he can definitely come out on top. But we're going to have to wait and see as Best Trick is the next competition. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit that like button. And we'll see you in Best Trick.